It never hurts to get checked out and talk with someone.
How to differentiate being sad and maybe being depressed. Like, what could this mean, or how this expression of this emotion, this being sad, which is just normal, how this could become a little bit more problematic.
So it's an excellent question. What differentiates feeling sad or down or having emotions from actually being depressed? And it's something that it really requires a professional to make that determination. But let me share with you a couple aspects of that a clinician or a professional is really listening for. So first of all, I'm going to focus on teenagers because we know that depression it can be present throughout the lifespan, but we see a tremendous rise in adolescence. So right after puberty, we see almost a threefold increase in depression rates. And we also see a shift in gender representation. So it seems to affect girls more than boys at a rate of about 2 to 1. And we don't know all the reasons for that. And it's kind of an area of investigation. But I just say that to say that the prevalence of depression is increasing so rapidly during this time that it's actually affecting about 1 in 5 youth at any given time. So it's quite common in teenagers to begin with. And then often, as you sort of know, we hear from parents or from kids like, oh, well, they're just a teenager and that's why they're emotional, right? So how do you make the determination of whether it's depression or not? So what we listen for depression is when first of all, you have one of the 2 following symptoms. You're either feeling sad or down or irritable most of the day, nearly every day, for a period of at least 2 weeks for what we call major depression. For other types of depression, it might not be every day, but frequently enough that it's getting in the way of things. Or you feel a lack of sort of pleasure and an enthusiasm and motivation for things that you used to enjoy.
People have things that they like to do, even if you're stressed, they do things to relax and have fun. So if things don't feel fun anymore, you used to love to go out, you used to love to play video games or whatever it is, and you just don't want to do that anymore. Or if you're a parent or a friend noticing that a teen kind of doesn't like to do what they used to like to do anymore, that is one of the core symptoms of depression.
We call that anhedonia. So the first question is, are one of those 2 things happening? And for a period of at least 2 weeks? And if the answer to that is yes, then there are a number of other things we look for, like, has your sleep been disrupted? Is your appetite disrupted? Are you socially isolating yourself? You don't want to be around other people in a way that's different from before you felt this mood shift. Are you wanting to hurt yourself or harm yourself or having thoughts about suicide or just death and darkness in general? Are you feeling guilty about things that really aren't your fault? So these are all some of the symptoms that we listen to and we're listening for about 5 or 6 of these, or 4 or 5 of these actually, to be happening in addition to those mood changes that I mentioned. And then last, and this is maybe the most critical thing, is it getting in the way of your life? Because if you're having just sort of transient up and down mood stuff that just goes along with your day and it's part of the ups and downs of life, and especially for teenagers who encounter a lot of stressors, that's not really depression. So is it getting in the way of how you're doing at school, how you're getting along with family, how you're getting along with friends, the degree to which you're even getting out of the house, for example? All of those kinds of areas of impairment or getting in the way of things are what make the difference between feeling in a bad mood versus having it affect your life in a clinically diagnosable way. So long answer, but hopefully I got some content for you. Yeah, I think anytime your mood shifts in a way that is noticeable to you and it's going on for a couple weeks or longer, that's really a time to reach out to someone and talk about it with a professional and see if they can help identify whether there's something that can be, whether or not you have depression, but also maybe to even prevent depression, getting some support and help before it even evolves to that state, to that point. It never hurts to get checked out and talk with someone. And if for some reason it's difficult to get into the office of a mental health professional, and it can be, sometimes schools have counselors, or even just your pediatrician, the person that you go to your well check visits for, can also sometimes assist with figuring out if this is something that should be followed up on.